We are live. Hello. Apologies for the delay.
Fashionably late.
Actually, no apologies. No compromises.
That's right.
Yeah. We definitely scheduled it for this exact time. Anyway, how's it going, everyone? Good to see you.
A lot of people in the
chat.
Wow, good to see y'all.
50 people watching already. Awesome.
Nice.
All right, let's say hi to some people. We got squat, bench, deadlift. I'm hyped. We'll be very interested in this stream. It's a shame that Diversity and Dragons couldn't stream with you and have you guys on yesterday. Yeah, that sucked. We'll probably, I think we're probably going to reschedule for next week. But yeah, it was just act of God. Power's been out for him for a couple of days. I think he said their estimate was by 11 p.m. tonight. They'll have it back though, which is good.
It's rough though.
It sucks. Yeah. And it's going to get really cold in Austin this weekend. So I'm hoping there's not another citywide disaster. We'll see. Let's see. We got Josh Jared. Hello. Dyson Anarchy. Hype.
Hell yeah.
Son of Balder. Going to be my first time seeing y'all live. Can't wait.
Welcome.
Nice. Welcome. Nice to see you, man. Sage McLaughlin. I wonder if that's, well, McLaughlin, not McLaughlin. I was thinking Kyle McLaughlin.
Kyle McLaughlin.
Yeah. Let's fucking go. That's right. ACKS II, let's go. Let Simulationist Play return full and center to the hobby again.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hello. What is this? Dare to Wonder. Did you check out Action Dice? No, I haven't had time yet.
What is
unfortunately, so he sent us his his 2-page game. Yeah, I will get to it, man, but I have not had time, unfortunately. 128th, good to see you. Good morning, people. 5:15 a.m. on a clock.
We appreciate the diligence.
Yeah, time to watch BLG.
Time well spent.
Yeah.
Do not get ready for work. Do not shower.
Right. Where are you, if you don't mind my asking? It's 9:19. 128th is in Moscow. Wow.
Damn.
In Canada. All right. We got someone from London. Nice. Thank you, Jack Tate. Or is that Jack Talt? I can't see that for Jack Tate. Yeah. Okay.
John Tate.
Whoops. I took a nap after work, and even though I woke up like over an hour ago, I'm still very disoriented. Let's see. We're waiting. Greetings. Late and gay. Diversity and Dragons already rolled a 1 last night. Yeah. It was unfortunate. Is the reason they're late and gay that they're blowing each other? No comments. Quickly, someone attempt to buy Candela Obscura. They'll be here in an instant to save you. I hopefully will never talk about that game ever again.
Look at or talk about it again.
I hate it. We hated even making the second video. Like, it was a chore.
Right.
It was a grind because I was just like, God, I gotta fucking read this again. This. Yeah, like, fucking sucked.
Awful game.
Yeah. Players late to the session should receive a -3 penalty on a roll for every 10 minutes they're late. What do you guys think? I think it should be every minute.
Yes.
No meme costume today, unfortunately. I don't have just like a bunch of meme costumes on hand. That was my Halloween costume for several years in a row, though. So I decided to wear that for the Reddit stream. A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Big true.
Yeah, there was I don't know if our stream got posted on Reddit yet. I do know that like the next day someone posted on one of those threads and was like, oh my God, they did a 3-hour stream responding to every point in this thread, point by point, and it was all bad faith arguments. Like, get fucked.
Yeah.
Almost catching up to when we started here.
Yeah.
The 2-minute trigger warning. We have a rough audience. No, we have the best audience.
That's true.
We love you guys. Oh shit! Got a super chat already.
Damn.
Canadian 50. Is that $5? $5. Matthew Packard. Action Dice. Pickard. That's right. I can't read. I'm illiterate. Action Dice. I prefer Action Dykes, the spiritual successor to Thirsty Souls. It's all right. We gotta.
That'll be forthcoming.
Yeah, I gotta stop cold reading everything because you guys are gonna get us in trouble someday. Was really looking forward to seeing you guys with DD. I think you guys would have a good chemistry. Yeah. I think so too.
It'll happen.
Yeah, it will happen.
Yeah,
most likely next week, but we'll see. Thought I was gonna be late because I was doing the tie your boots with 2 kittens on the loose challenge. Ooh, yeah. Strong Style Gaming is online.
Nice.
Evening. Hello. Austin is cold. It's -45 where I am. Why don't you live in civilization, dude? Like, come on. -45? The boys. How's it going, Primeval?
Hey, good to see you.
You got a book on his recommendation, didn't you?
Yes. And I read the first like 90 pages of it, and I can't remember what it was. It's the book where you got Ison's Vow. Ison's Vow.
On the history of the tabletop.
On the history of the
hobby.
Just trying to find it.
Gamers worldwide unite. Crafty Matt says, it should be mentioned that you are in the presence of the first backer.
The Elusive Shift is the name of the book.
Princeps of the Imperial Imprint. Yeah, this is Crafty Matt was the very first person to back the ACKS II Kickstarter, which we will be talking about tonight. Not the Kickstarter, but the game.
Yep.
Brazil, nice to see you. Currently in Thailand. Wow.
Oh, wow.
But back in Australia on the weekend. We will not presume to know what you're doing in Thailand. The great state and swamp of Florida. Ooh. I'm here in the northeast Texas behind the pine curtain, as it's called. Nice. The shirt is definitely pink. Yeah. Nice. So after the stream ended last time, I went and watched it, and it definitely appears pink. It had to have been like compression or something, because even in OBS it looked red. So it was just the internet screwing with us. Texas is never hot, but the cold gets pretty brutal. That's psychotic. Texas does get very hot. It's cute you think Texas gets cold. Dude, we both spent a decade plus in the Northeast. We know what cold is. It's not fun. In Tel Aviv. Nice. Miss Ginger Chad. Matthew Pickard. Fuck, I never thought of that joke. All right.
No.
Holy moly, a girl was in my judo club, was a border guard for her military service, and some terrorists tried to stab her, and she kicked his ass. Well, good for her.
Yeah.
We don't like terrorists.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Primeval Fantasy.
Jay Peterson, the elusive shift. Yeah.
Yep.
And she is a lesbian. Irrelevant.
Oof, though.
Anything below freezing, I cease functioning. Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
It can get to about 40. When it gets into the 40s, I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah, I want it to be over.
Yeah. And then I remember waking up one day in New York I was going to go lift, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. And I looked at my phone, and it said it was -4. And I went,
nope.
Fuck that. Yeah. I'm not getting out of bed. Bowing in awe of the first backer.
Yep.
Excellent stuff in there, Team Eisen. Yeah, I'm gonna read it after Nick finishes it.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
How's it going, Cold Dog? We are doing great. Hitting below 0 for the next time. Oh my god, you guys need to move. I don't generally enjoy the heat, but I loathe the cold.
Yeah, I would much rather be boiling hot than freezing cold. Especially for weeks and months at a time.
Yeah. You got someone snowed in. Shauner's programming Traveler characters in Python while listening.
Nice.
I assume that's what you're always doing, though. If you're not on your way to Domino's or breaking down someone's non-role-playing session, then I assume you're making Traveler characters in Python. Mage greetings. Mage greetings. Wandering Mage, greetings. I remember one time I was reading something, like an instruction manual or something, and it was like, and then click the meanest, and I was like, what the fuck is
meanest?
Yeah, I was like, the meanest? And I was like, menus. So stupid. Oh my god. We caught up with the chat. 10 Celsius is cold. I don't know what that is. It sounds cold, though. It's a low number. If you're a fan of hellish climates, try Korea.
I'm not.
The hottest
and I won't.
and the coldest I've ever been. One nice day in spring, one in fall. Rest of the year is a sweltering jungle, heat, or frigid Arctic cold.
We'll leave that to Runeslinger.
I like living in America. Not just cold here, but 23 hours of darkness. I live very up north. God, that's crazy. I hate the cold as well. Can't wait to move out of Canada. Yeah, good call. Get out, dude. 128. It's good that weather got warmer here. It was about -25 last week in Moscow. Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
I played Destiny 2 and someone had a voice just like young Steve Buscemi. -13. Dear God. Oh man. Well, we so we played our first session of ACKS II this last Sunday. A little bit of a shit show in the beginning because my players are psychotic, and we had 2 new players.
New to role-playing games in general.
Yeah, had never done role-playing games ever.
Right.
One of them is my friend Evan, and the other is his wife. And Evan and one of our other players, these are extraordinarily intelligent people, and they really like getting under my skin. And so they were naming their characters all sorts of stupid like shit that trying to put a veto on that. I had to come to some compromises on a couple of them, unfortunately, but I think I'm going to undo the compromises next session and put the foot down.
Yep.
So it was kind of a rough start. And it took a while for everybody to kind of get into it, I think. But by the end, everyone was very engaged, very invested, which was awesome.
Right.
So it bodes well for the game going forward. And there was a lot of tripping over rules and having to look stuff up, which is difficult. But it's
also part of the process.
Yeah, it's part of the process. It's like we've never played.
Right.
And I haven't even finished reading the entire book yet because it's
ginormous.
Yeah, it's enormous. But I've gotten through the adventuring chapter, which is essentially up to the point you need to read to actually play the game.
Right.
And it's very cool. We had one thing that we thought ahead of time when we were going through the rules and like playtesting the combat system.
Yeah.
We had one thing that immediately stuck out as like, what the fuck is this rule? And it has to do with character death. Basically, it's when your character goes to 0 or negative hit points, you then you're incapacitated in the game. You don't know the fate of your character. And then if someone comes over, as soon as someone comes over to make a healing check on you, basically to try and stabilize you, then the downed player makes a roll for the mortal wounds table. And it's broken out by damage type. And it's a 1d20 roll plus a lot of different bonuses.
Right. There's a tremendous number of different modifiers, positive and negative modifiers, depending upon the ranks of healing, whether that the person who's coming to your aid is bringing to bear, whether it's magical or mundane healing, how long it's been since the wound was inflicted, what the victim's con modifier is, what their current
have a great helmet
hit points are, if they have a
what their hit die value is for their class,
right?
It's a whole bunch of stuff. So that modifies the 1d20 on this chart, and then you roll 1d6 to see what the actual wound is within that category. And so if you roll negative, like anything negative or up to 0, instant death, and then you roll 1d6 and it tells you your how you died,
how basically. It happened.
From like 1 to I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's like from like 1 to 10, 1 to 15. You're alive, but you're dying. Like you have not recovered your hit points. You're still at whatever 0 or negative value you had. And based on how high you rolled within that range, determines how long you have to get healed to positive hit points before you die.
You need to be further treated.
Yeah. And then the wound that you take, the lower that you're on the D20 scale, the much worse it is. I mean, it's like if you rolled like an 8 or something like that, like you might have had your legs hacked off. So you need crutches and you're at like a -3 permanent dexterity is down. And like,
And that's getting off easy.
Yeah.
Like the really rough permanent injuries.
Yeah, you can get like, your guts are spilled out. And so you have like penalty to reaction rolls for the rest of your life because you have chronic incontinence and flatulence.
Yeah.
And also like, because of that, like your poison save is way more difficult. It's rough. The thing is, the table and the effects are fucking awesome. Like the effects are very cool.
Yeah, the wounds, the result of the 1d6 roll, what type of injury you get dependent upon the type of weapon.
Yeah,
is really cool.
It's really cool. But the problem we had with this. Oh wait, we got a super chat here. This says, Steve, did you say con modifier or cum modifier?
Cum modifier. A big modifier is semen retention rate.
How deep your cum gutters are. Thank you. Thank you for the $2, by the way.
Wet money well spent.
Yeah. But the sequence. So the problem we had immediately was the number of modifiers that you have to do to calculate this is enormous, and
it's a lot.
Very time consuming. Because it's literally like victims' constitution modifier, their hit die value, the percentage of
there's like a
their
minimum
max hit points that they've gone negative.
Variables.
Yeah, and that gives you, it's like if you're exactly at 0, you actually get a +5 bonus to the roll. If you're negative 25%, it's like a -2, and then from 25 to 50, it's a negative modifier. And then if anything after that is going to be like a -10. Yeah, it gets much worse. So you have to sit there and calculate that out. Then if you're wearing a great helm for your equipment, it's the only equipment modifier, which is kind of weird, like having a great helm. Then you get a +2, and then I think there's like one other thing on there that I'm not thinking of, and that's just the victim's roll. And then the person coming over to heal, it's like, what's the time from how long the blow was struck?
Right.
Then we get, if they're brilliant, using levels of healing proficiency, the level of magic that they're using for magical healing on you.
Right. What types of herbs
you have,
if any?
There are a whole bunch of stuff. So it's a lot of modifiers. And the bigger problem, though, was that the way we run combat with our games is that it's all happening very quickly. And when blows are struck, when people go down, we want to know what happened to them immediately.
What happened? Describe what happened.
Describe what happened. Yeah, and I want to know.
Keep it moving.
I want to know if you're alive or dead immediately.
Right.
And the problem that we had with this is it's like, say you go really negative on your hit points, and so you roll, and you're already really screwed on the 1d20 table. Like, it's going to take a miracle to save you. If someone then comes over and uses like their cure serious injury spell on you, like they're burning like big magical resources, they're using magic potions on you, expending all of these resources, and then you make the roll and your result is your head was cut off.
Right.
It's like, wouldn't I know his head was already cut off?
Yeah, when it got cut off.
Right. And so it was very, very odd. That was immediately like when we were reading the rules, we were like, what? And we tried it like running a mock combat, and it really did not work for us. And so then I went and asked about this on the ACKS forums and I got like a couple of okay answers. And then finally McCrease dropped his answer on like, what is the actual game design thing on this, which made sense. But basically the best answer that I got from one of the other people on the Discord was that your hit points, it's not just a health marker. It's an abstraction about a lot of different things. And when someone takes a blow that puts them at -10 hit points, your characters know about that. They don't know literally, they're not aware literally of hit points, but they're aware of the circumstances of what the hit points are describing. And so if someone is really, really super wounded, it might not be worth it to even try to heal them. But that's still, it was kind of like, okay, but if my legs have been cut off or my head's been cut off, I should know that before someone comes over to heal me.
Right. There's no Schrodinger's cat moment where, unless an observer spends time and resources to really look you over. If you got chopped in half with a hill giant's axe, or your legs are dismembered, or your head is cut off,
or one of the piercing damage ones is you are impaled from your rectum to your through your head. You know, it's like we know that already.
Yeah, that clearly happened.
Yeah,
and it happened then,
not when I came to heal you.
Like, oh gee whiz, what happened to him? Like,
the combat's over. You've been on the floor for 10 minutes. Everybody get the defibrillator. Well, man, the defibrillator didn't work. It turns out, he's got a spear impaled through his entire fucking body. So then after kind of arguing with people and asking them, and telling them, I want this to make sense. Please make it make sense for me.
Right.
Then McCrease jumped in and said, here's what the mechanic is meant to do from a gameplay perspective. He's like, I wanted to incentivize heroic combat medics, people making big sacrifices to try and save their friends. And this potentially, it's when you roll a 20, like an at 20 on that mortal wounds table, and you have some bonuses, it's it turns out the monster that hit you for negative 10 hit points or whatever, it's you're actually fine. You were slightly dazed, and everyone's like, yes, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And that it's meant to kind of emulate the scene in Lord of the Rings when the troll stabs Frodo with the spear, and everyone thinks he's dead. And then they go over, and he's just been unconscious because he has the mithril jacket on. And he's saved. And so it was kind of, and I get that. But for us, it was just this is instantaneously taking me out of the game in a super jarring way that makes no sense. So,
because it's not actually simulating the world at that point, which is what much of the book, a lot of effort has been put into making it do just that.
Yeah.
And so it did not make sense. But you ran it. Raw rules is
so
written,
and I read
just to try it.
Yeah, we did this to try it, and we had to do it 3 times in the first encounter. Yeah, it was because they made a big mistake. They basically gave away their position and alerted these bandits to the fact that they were aware that they were bandits, and so they bandits come on horseback to fight them.
Yeah,
and immediately, this is again first time we roll this. Bandit comes in and slices one of the PCs. He goes down to 0 or negative. I don't remember what it was.
It was in the negatives.
It was negatives, yeah. So then the next round, or the next action on your initiative, you run over.
I went.
And you start forcing healing, a healing potion down and giving him herbs, doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then the result that we got was that he had his toes cut off. And it was this makes no sense.
No sense.
He's fighting, he got slashed from an elevated
from a long
position.
Sword or a short sword on horseback. How did your toes
and so I'm
get slashed?
Okay, we'll retcon this to the horse trampled your feet.
Yeah.
And I told this to people in the ACKS forum. They were like, well, that seems like a reasonable retcon to me. And I'm like, I don't want to retcon it.
Yeah. I want it to just work.
Yeah, you're not getting this. And so we considered okay, what if we just take the healing portion of the other player character off? We just have the player character who goes down just rolls immediately on the table with none of the other effects. Right. The problem is that that's going to make the game super deadly.
There's a lot of the larger positive modifiers you get to your D20 result come from the person who's treating you and when they treat you.
And what level of magic there is being applied, what resources they're bringing to bear.
How many ranks in the healing proficiency do they have? What type of magic are they using? Et cetera, et cetera.
Right. And so we were thinking about that, or trying to find some way to make this work. And then so McCrease pops in on the Discord and says, what you could do is just have a static +5 bonus that gets applied to the mortal wounds roll. That is pretty good, but it's not as good as it could be. But then just it's a +5 bonus for rolling immediately, as opposed to having the combat healing thing happen. And I think that's going to work out a lot better. And what we're doing in addition to that is all of these modifiers that people have for their mortal wounds thing, I'm going to have them pre-calculate that as a static value that is just written on the character sheet. So there's no like, oh, what's my con modifier? What's my hit die? What's this? It's literally, it's like 7, you know, or like 9. It's just there.
Right.
And from there, the only modifier, it's just add that to your D20 roll. And the only thing that we have to adjust as an actual modifier that isn't immediately on your sheet is going to be dependent on how negative your hit points are.
Right.
And so I think this is going to speed it up a lot. And it's going to allow us to, the sequence will be monster attacks the character, monster rolls damage, person goes negative on hit points.
Mm-hmm.
They make the mortal wounds roll. Then I've determined what it is on the chart and narrate what happened in the attack. So it's a much quicker resolution. Keep it moving. And we don't have to deal with that because it was
very, very time consuming.
It's very time consuming. And I'm sure it would get faster over time, but I'm never going to remember all of those modifiers. Right. I'm going to have to look it up every single time. So that was tough. That
was the biggest thing.
That was the only thing
in play. Yeah.
It was the only thing in play. And it's the only thing that we've been reading that really stuck out. That was immediately like, whoa, that's not going to work.
We have
for
to
us.
address this. Right.
Everything else is pretty cool. I like all the classes and like all the different abilities.
Classes are very cool.
Yeah. Nick's playing a warlock. We have everybody made 3 characters. And I think we're going to do kind of a troop style thing, which is awesome.
Which I really want to experience.
Yeah. I'm super pumped about that. They're going to be able to bring them in as henchmen as well as higher henchmen. But bring like the rest of the characters and party in. But knowing the risk is, you know, one of your backup characters can die.
Right.
But it will also be because now like we had like Nick's character lost an eye in that first combat.
Yes.
Like the party got pretty fucked up. They still won the fight. And they got some cool treasure. They found the entrance to the dungeon. But they're going to need bed rest and stuff. So it'll give people an opportunity to play different character styles and whatnot, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. And we really like a couple of the guys in the group, they hate making characters because it's time consuming. And so they were like making 3 characters. I'm like, fuck. I was like, we're front loading it. We're front loading it now. Like,
which is what the game advises.
Yeah. Well, it actually advises you make 5 characters.
Yeah. But
that
was going to be too rough of a sell.
Yeah. That was
for some of the people.
But by the end, they were all kind of like, man, we really fucked that fight up. Like they were all thinking like, we really should have done this differently. And so like,
which is the correct takeaway.
Yeah, which is exactly the exact correct takeaway. So I think they're going to be a lot more tactical and methodical on the next thing, the next session, which is going to be awesome. But it was a lot of fun. The players all had a lot of fun. A couple of them have been texting me about different things they want to do, like setting up,
which is always good.
Yeah, like one of the characters is playing an assassin and was reading the entry and was like, it says that I could be a member of a secret assassins guild. Like, what does that mean? And I was like, well, let's talk about it. And like, we'll think of something. Yeah. So I'm thinking of a couple of ideas to pitch to her. It was really cool. So far to this session, we had a warlock, a venturer, a fighter, an assassin, and a bard. And it was a lot of fun. And they actually did some smarter things in the beginning too, which was to actually explore the town. I thought they were going to be like, let's just go to the wilderness. Let's go find this fucking thing. Like, let's go kill the monsters. But they were like exploring the town and talking to people, and it ended up saving their fucking ass because they went to the hospital at Turos Tem and talked to the high priestess and ended up getting some free shit that helped them. But so far, it's really cool. There's a lot of rules. The combat. There's a lot there to make it tactical if you want, but you don't necessarily have to use all of it. Like there's rules for charging and, like setting your spear against the charge, counter charging. You have initiative resets every round, so it's like you're not just in a static batting order, which I hate about individual initiative in other systems. You get the ability to, if you're really high in the initiative order, and you don't necessarily want to use your action until like a better, more advantageous moment, you can ready that action. So you're basically like waiting, and then you can go on any other initiative segment before someone if you want. So this also makes it so you can set an attack against the charge.
Is that the case? Can you? It's like in D&D, there's a distinction between readying an action which has a specific trigger that you specify. I wait for someone to come around the corner and then I attack them. Or holding the action, which is I'm just holding. I'm not specifying.
I think you have to specify if it's a combat action or a move action.
Okay.
Like, because you can ready a combat action. That's a good question. We should look that up before next time. But yeah, you are basically, it's like you can, if you're at the party's fighting in the room and you're at the door making sure nothing's coming, and then you see goblins coming down the hallway, but your initiative's already up.
Right. I know they're coming.
They're coming. I don't have to run out to meet them. I can meet them at the door and use my action when they arrive.
Right.
Which is really cool. I like that a lot. Spells, you have to declare that you're casting a spell and what you're casting before
the initiative. Yeah.
And then the spell, as long as you don't fail a save or take damage, or otherwise have your concentration broken if it requires concentration, then your spell happens on your initiative thing. There's no magic check or magic roll. It goes off and the effects are dealt with afterward. Mm-hmm. And some of the spells are pretty cool. Unfortunately, Nick's character was actually kind of hobbled mechanically through error on our part. He was
well, we were trying to, or at least I was trying to not. I'm trying to not power game it because the type of warlock this character is effectively casts certain types of spells at a higher level.
At 2 levels higher.
At 3 levels.
Oh, 3 levels higher.
Because I also
right, because it's stacked.
It stacks with something else I have. But it wasn't clear to me. So coming from like a D&D, or at least I have some experience with 2nd edition. I'm more familiar with Pathfinder, which I know is not what ACKS is. ACKS is not really in that lineage at all. But, I'm used to in D&D or Pathfinder terms knowing what an effective caster level means. So a caster level typically would mean your spell DCs are higher. There are no spell DCs on like the caster on the player side. It's based on it's based on the victim's
and one of the
saves.
One of the proficiencies that gave you this effect says in the first or second sentence that your character casts this spell at their character level 2 levels higher or whatever.
Right.
But then in the next sentence it says caster level.
So
and we're like shit.
Those are very definitive terms.
Yeah, we're like, oh fuck, is there something called caster level in this game? Like I can't find it.
So long story short, I should have had double the efficacy on a certain type of spell.
Exactly.
I think anyway.
No, you should have. You should have, definitely. Let's see here. We got some more super chats. We got Thraxis for $5.
Oh, thank you, sir.
For a detailed critical hit system, check out the Hackmaster AD&D clone from 2001. D10,000 table, is that what it is?
That is what it says.
Yeah. For hit location. Shit. That is crazy.
Roll a perfect spear.
Is that $100?
Holy shit, it is.
Leonard Brand. Jeez, dude, thanks. Because I know he's watching today. Can I get a happy birthday, Eric Brand? You definitely
Happy birthday, Eric Brand.
Eric Brand.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. And thank you so much for $100.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's crazy.
That's Leonard. Yeah, Leonard. That's Leonard's birthday gift to you. He gave us $100.
He's a good friend.
Yes.
Friend of the show. Thanks, man. No, seriously, that's insanely generous.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate it. $4.99 from Broken Blade, who created Streets of Peril, which we will get to sometime, but we've just got a whole.
I'm still waiting for. I got to go back to the website because I ordered Streets of Peril, but I don't have like an email confirmation, so I don't know if I'm just retarded.
We can reach out to them on Twitter.
Whatever. So I'm hoping that it's on its way.
Yeah,
and it'll just be a surprise. Because I really want. I watched a couple of your videos today and yesterday. Really interested in digging into it. You have a good philosophy.
And it's I really like the art in the book like a lot. So he says, death and injury rules can be tricky. I've started working on a new critical injury rules for Streets of Peril to replace what is currently in there.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was like I said, we were tripping over the rules. We're going to be tripping over it for a little while.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but the other thing is like I said, it's not. There's a lot there in the combat system. So if you want to do these, like if you want to do things like charges and if you're flanking someone or elevated, and then there's backstabs and and people being vulnerable, there's all these different conditions. It all makes sense, and I think it's gonna come together pretty easily. Like it's not that complicated. It's there's a lot of things there, but the subsystems, aside from the mortal wounds roll, that was the most thing where I was just like, oh my god, there's so much, there's so many different factors here. But everything is fairly. The rules are simple. There's just quite a few things you can do. So I think that's going to be good. I am very much looking forward to this, and getting them into the dungeon is going to be pretty awesome. I think they're going to have a good time, and we're running Sinister Stone of Saqqara, so it's the ACKS starting dungeon basically, and it's a really really well done and fleshed out and world built dungeon, which is very important to me. And there's a lot of cool stuff in it. And I've already started I was thinking today and yesterday about like different things, like different hooks I'm going to throw out to the different player characters that can take this in like a completely different direction.
Definitely will happen.
Yeah, so I'm super, super pumped. So let's see here. Let me ask you a question when you get to it. Does the funeral mechanic push any player behavior? Not yet, and that's something I forgot to inform them about, and I'm going to inform them about next time. He says, haven't played, but the mechanic is really intriguing to me. Yeah. So what he's referring to is there is a mechanic called heroic funerals, where if your character goes out in a blaze of glory, like they can't just die like a bitch. Like if they save the part, they give their life to hold off the monsters so the other guys can run off with all the loot. What you can do then is it's like, thank you, Petros, for your sacrifice. He dies in the dungeon. You all get back to town, and you spend a shitload of gold on this heroic funeral. You throw this incredible, you make this giant pyre to, burn the rest of his possessions or his body or whatever.
Right. Pour out libations and throw a big party. And tell stories of his glory.
And the amount of gold that you spend on that funeral gives you no mechanical benefit. But what it does do is it allows that player, their next character gets like 90% of the experience value of the treasure that you blew on this big party and this big funeral applied to their new character. So it's a way of like, if you're mid-level and like you're like, I don't want to roll a first level character again. Are you kidding me? That's a way to help mitigate that. There's a lot of other things you can do though. Like you can do things like constructing a barrow mound. For them and like interring them with like all of their magical items and their possessions and everything like that. And the amount of money that goes into the construction of this thing, same thing. It's like they get like 90% of the experience value of it, which if you're doing a construction project like that can be a lot of experience. Yeah. And if you then try to plunder the barrow later on, you immediately because of your
ignoble deeds.
Yeah, ignoble deeds. You're cursed immediately. Yeah, and you become whites that are now monsters in that mini dungeon, which is awesome and contributes to the world building. You can also just separately by spending gold on things that give you no mechanical benefit, by just your own character going on these benders, you can bank experience for your next character, or you can, designate a henchman as like your heir. So there's a lot of ways that you can pass on the experience, and in that way, it sort of extends how long it takes you to level up, because you're saving, you're putting something away for a rainy day, but eventually that rainy day is going to come.
True.
Characters are going to die. And so I think I was thinking about this, the difference between the game as a game. ACKS is a very low time preference game. You have to have low time preference. You are willing to put in time and effort and play a little more methodically, and save up for your other characters and sink all this money into these different categories. Whereas you have Shadow Dark, which is super rules light, like insanely rules light compared to ACKS. And the way that you level up in that, like, you don't get to construct domains or anything like this. You only get experience from blowing money on carousing. Like, so you get your gold back to civilization, and then you have to go on these huge benders every single time. So it's this very like live fast, die hard, like very high time preference, little thought of consequence.
Yeah.
So it's it's like,
which is amusing.
Yeah.
And
I like that about the game.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a definite. It mechanically incentivizes a certain type of person.
Yeah, and it mechanically incentivizes a short-term play. So it's the kind of thing like, oh, my friend's in town. Like, you want to play Shadow Dark? I got some pre-made characters. We'll just immediately, like, there's no.
Yep.
It's going to be very easy to teach someone to play. Yeah,
pick up and play. Right.
And you can do that for a couple days, and then it's done.
It's done one way or another. Yeah.
It's not. That is not a game for long-term campaigns. ACKS is a game for long-term campaigns.
Definitely.
So we haven't done that yet, and I haven't informed the players of it yet. I need to, because I forgot to, because it was just it was utter chaos.
There's a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, just utter chaos getting characters made, answering questions, and all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
Generally didn't know if it was con or come. Sounds too much like Rollmaster to me, but I'm still glad the creator was so successful. It's nice to see someone who isn't a political hack make a popular game.
Very true.
Yeah, it's well-earned success. Is this ACKS or Fatal? I'm not familiar with Rollmaster. I think Rollmaster had a table for that. Oh, they must be talking about the Mortal Wounds. Retain for extra damage. I've had characters lose fingers, ears, etc. when they fall below 0 hit points. We also use the critical hits cards in some of those remove bits as well. Yeah, I am going to use critical hits as well. Oh, goddamn moth or something. Well, I got him. He's now in pieces.
Good.
Get fucked. Yeah, so the critical hits rules are actually not in the main rulebook. They're in the Judge's Journal, which I found out, which I've only scratched the surface on it. A lot of the material in the Judge's Journal is not a lot. I'd say like the first maybe 25% of it is from Arbiter of Worlds, his other book on game mastery. And it's all very good. It's about how to...
how and why to GM a game, create a world in a particular way.
How to get your players on board. How to create a sandbox campaign that has not a linear story, but more of a web of interrelated things. One can lead to another or to other places. And from that, you get like an emergent story coming out, but you are prepped in the world, and that you're placing points of interest. It's very much, Gygax, start with one dungeon, one town, expand from there. And really, it's really good stuff. Arbiter of Worlds is a very good book. And so I skipped that part in the Judge's Journal as of right now, because I read that like a month ago.
Already.
Yeah, I read that book a month ago, and so I was like, I want to read things that I haven't read yet. And so I was looking at critical hits tables and like all the. This is really funny. I was reading the encumbrance rules, the expanded encumbrance rules in the Judge's Journal, was like the most cumbersome thing I've ever, because it was like you can carry this in one hand and one thing over your shoulder,
the
but
most
not this way. Yeah,
overburdened.
I was like, why would anyone ever use this?
Yeah.
And after you finish the list, it says, we sincerely hope that you never have to use these rules.
Right.
But if you get that player that comes up with some crazy way of like, yeah, you know, like it's still within my encumbrance limit, and I'm technically holding this here. That it's like this protects you against that player, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, thank God. I was like, I don't have to use this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff in the judge's journal is really cool, and like it's got like the class creation rules. I think it has rules for demi-human classes as well.
Yeah, race creation, class creation.
Yeah, race creation and class creation, but this does not include rules for monster creation. That's going to be in the bestiary. Yeah, the monstrous manual when that comes out. Hopefully soon. I think he was hoping to have it out this week. I don't know though. So I'm looking forward to that one too. I actually need the monstrous manual at this point. But the judge's journal is fucking awesome. There's really, really good stuff in there. So I'm excited to get to read that at some point, but and I will need it for wilderness travel, but right now, you know, the dungeon's two hexes away, so they're not going to be exploring a hell of a lot.
Right.
For the moment.
Yeah. It's going to be a while.
It's going to be a little while. But it's really good. This game is really, really well thought out. I just started reading the campaign rules, which are the campaign activities like building domains and constructing castles and then mass combat and all that sort of stuff.
Which I really am interested in seeing. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
A long while.
It's going to be a long while before we get there in game. Like we'll definitely have a handle on it before then. But I just now felt comfortable enough venturing outside of the adventuring chapter. Not just the adventuring chapter, but that whole first like 2/3 of the book. And yeah, it's really cool. I will say though that like he did beef up the thief skills in that you can do like you know, your adventuring proficiency, which everyone has. You can check for traps. And well, it's not just checking for traps; it's searching. So you're searching for, this could be secret doors, traps, hidden features, you know, all of these different things. And if you do a hasty search, then you're rolling. Well, no, it's if you're not a thief, you do a methodical search of an area, which takes 1 round, which is 10 minutes in the dungeon, and you're rolling. To succeed at that, the game master is making the roll from behind the screen, so players aren't aware of how well they did, but it's at an 18 or 9. It's an 18 plus.
Outside of combat, there's not a lot of player rolls.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
But if you're a thief, it's at a 14 plus, so you have a big bonus there. And you can search multiple times.
Level 1.
Yeah, at level 1.
At level 1.
But it's like sneaking and hiding. It's like sneaking, I think, is like a 19 plus.
Yeah. Very difficult.
Really, really difficult. Like you suck at level 1. But even if you fail at sneaking, you're still getting like enemies are at like a -2, I think, to hit you or something. Like there is still
an effective AC increase.
Yeah, there's still a benefit to it. And same with hiding. But it's really difficult. And as you level up, things get much easier, much quicker. Like by the time you're level 8, which is a super powerful character in this game, by the time you're at level 8, it's like insane how low the proficiency throws are. And like the attack throws for the fighter, they go down 1 almost every single level. In one case, I think it goes down by 2. But if you're like level 14, your attack throw is negative.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, if it's an unarmored target, you hit them. Yeah. Like unless you roll a nat 1. Yeah. Unless you roll a 1, you are going to hit them.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah. And the fighters can cleave. Like there's they've really made the fighter badass in this game. It's
the hit points
awesome.
are interesting as well. I am not aware of another game doing it this way. Possible that there is one where, like in D&D, I'm a D6 hit die class. So I roll my D6 for level 1. Level 2, I roll another D6 and add my con modifier. In ACKS, you re-roll all of your hit die. So you roll at level 2, 2d6 plus your con modifier, which offers you the possibility of you could have gotten a 1.
Yeah.
Or you can minimum get 4 on the die roll, right? At level 1 in ACKS, but at level 2 I could roll double 6s and get resulting in 12 plus my con modifier.
Right.
And if I get less than what I had last level, it just goes up by default
by 1
point.
Yeah.
But that's really cool.
Yeah,
because you have the opportunity to get significant hit point increases for every class, even for a wizard. You're potentially doubling your hit points, right?
Yeah.
And you're never going to backslide. So
not every level, because like at level 3 you have 3 hit dice. You're not doubling.
You're right.
But you're getting an additional hit die.
Yeah.
Every level, and you're re-rolling those hit dice.
You're re-rolling all of those hit dice until like level 9.
Yeah, so it's
something, and you get a plus.
If you get
plus 1.
if you bust and you get a lower or equal roll to what you have now, you go up by a minimum of 1 hit point.
Yeah.
Every time. But you have the opportunity to get big boosts,
which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's a lot of different optional means for character creation. I went with the standard one, which was I think like the lowest, not quite the lowest. There is the option of you just roll your hit die and apply your modifier, whatever it is. You can end up with 1 hit point.
Yeah.
But it's,
obviously minimum 1.
Minimum of 1. Yeah, it's not Traveler. You're not dying in character creation. But the default rule is that if you roll a 4, you treat it as, or if you roll less than a 4, you treat it as 4.
Right.
So, and then apply your con modifier. So it can go down from there.
Right.
But
what if my backup characters has a -2?
Right.
And is a 4 hit die character, level 1, 2 hit points.
Yeah. There's alternate rules where you roll a d6 for your 0 level character. And like, okay, now they've become an adventurer. They have reached level 1.
Right.
Now you roll your class hit die on top of that.
Yeah.
Or there's like, you just take the maximum value. There's a bunch of different options. I just went with the standard, roll your hit die. If it's less than a 4, treat it as a 4, apply your con mod.
Yep.
So everybody's got really low hit points.
Yeah.
I think the highest one was 6 hit points. But it's it's really cool. The classes, some of them are really evocative. Like we really like the Warlock. And there's a lot of different. There's like the Warlock has 3 different paths that it can go down, like demonology, necromancy,
or transmogrification.
Yeah. And each one of those things comes along with something very, very interesting in character progression. Most of the classes, I won't say most of the classes. Some of the classes have things like this. Other classes have like codes of conduct. There's the witch class is really kind of interesting because they have so when you have like a priestess or a blade dancer or any kind of a cleric class, basically they have some sort of code of behavior that they have to maintain to keep their powers and
all the divine casters.
Things. Yeah, different means, and like if you are getting your power from a specific god, you have to do certain things to wield that power. The witch is different. She's still a divine caster, but she is a studious divine caster, which means that she can learn these divine spells. Yeah, she basically has a spell book. Basically. She can learn divine things, and what she's doing, instead of being devoted to a single god, she is making pacts with minor spirits in the beginning. And so her code of behavior is very easy.
Not arbitrary, but it can be very random and strange.
Right. And it can, over time, it can become very strange.
Because, and it will, because you're getting more and more. You're trucking and making oaths and allegiances to more and more powerful and diverse spirits that all have these disparate demands.
And so it can get really weird, which is really
Which
cool.
is very much in the archetype of like a witch. You have these weird things like, I have to accept a gift, or I have to return however you treat me in kind.
Yeah.
Good or bad. Yeah. Whatever the case may be.
So there's so much interesting stuff going on in there. This is not how I remember D&D classes. Like, they're way cooler.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of evocative in-world stuff with it. And I'm very excited to get well, actually, we have the class creation rules in the Judge's Journal. I'm excited to play around with that. And I understand why most people who are playing ACKS are playing in their own campaign settings that they've created. Because the tool set here, and I think, I'm not sure this tool set was actually, like, the algorithms for all this stuff was exposed previously. But the tool set is very cool and can allow you to make a very detailed world that is mechanically going to fit. You know, it might, so you can still make probably edge case classes where they either suck or they're overpowered. But that's not generally going to happen. And you can pretty much be guaranteed that whatever you make is going to fit in the system, which is really, really cool.
I haven't looked at it at all, but I definitely want to.
Yeah. Really interested in the economic stuff coming up. I'm super pumped about that.
I'm glad someone's playing a venturer, the venture capitalist class.
The venture capitalist adventurer class.
Hopefully the character lives.
Yeah. I think she will. I was like, how many arrows did you fight in that shoot in that combat? She's like, I don't know, like 5 or 6. I was like, God damn it.
You gotta,
I was like, you gotta
keep track.
And I was like, when they are like looting the bodies, all right, I'm like, all right, this one had, 12 silver pieces and blah, blah, blah. And I go to the next one. They're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, great. And like, I get through all the rolls and I'm looking around. I was like, did anyone write that down? They're like, what?
I wrote it down.
I was like, God damn it. I was like, guys, I'm telling you so you can write it on your character sheet. Like, like I'm not writing this down. You write it down.
Yeah. If you don't write it down, you don't have it.
Yeah.
They'll get it.
Yeah. All right. Let's I know we're way behind here. Let's just click on one of these. Let's see. We got people talking to each other.
I see Mr. Max is in the chat. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Kev says, maybe you screwed up the healing attempt so badly that you shoved the spear up his ass or cut off his head.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The big advantage to healing magic, in my mind at least, is that it can stop bleeding really quickly. That's what most guys die from in modern warfare. They just bleed out.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. But
and
the thing is, for the most part, if you're not getting dismembered, if you're not really low on the chart, it's not a problem from the perspective of like, how did I not see that his guts were spilling out across the floor? Or how did I not see that he was, his head rolled 10 feet away?
Yeah.
And I came over and I wasted all this magic on him. But the bigger problem for us was that it's like, this breaks the kind of immersive nature of things.
Right. You're retroactively determining.
Right.
You're
retconning.
You're retconning, causality.
Right. Which I had to do.
Yes.
When the guy from an elevated position murked one of our characters with a sword and cut off his toes.
3 toes.
3 of his toes. Yeah. It's like, what?
Okay.
No, I think it was 2 toes.
It doesn't matter.
No, because 3 toes would have made his foot unusable.
Well, maybe it was 2 on 1 foot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't remember
knows?
what the description was.
Yeah. It felt very weird.
Yeah.
No, we didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Frodo's head was not in a super
position of being decapitated and being fine.
Yeah.
They really should be an instant death check you make first. Then if you survive that, the medic can roll on the table. Yeah,
which is basically how we're going to be doing it.
Well, because we considered that as well.
Uh-huh.
No, of separating it to, You roll instantly. We find out if you're alive or dead. Right. If you're alive, then the person can come treat you.
Yeah.
They do that, and that boosts your D20 roll. Whatever your category was, as long as it wasn't dead already, then you can still get like a better result on it. We considered that, but it was still kind of.
We just wanted to do one roll,
right? And McCrease provided, he's just add 5. And we're like, okay,
fair enough,
nice, thank you. Schrodinger's death save.
Yep.
Why not just roll for mortal wounds when you fall to 0 hit points?
That was our question.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah.
And the answer, if you weren't here earlier, the answer was that it is to incentivize heroic combat medics and to kind of simulate the scene in Lord of the Rings where everyone you're like, oh God, I think my guy's dead. I think he's dead. He's alive. It's like because it's very exciting and satisfying for players. It's not satisfying for me though, which is the important thing.
Correct.
Okay. We're like way behind it.
We are.
Let's see here. Well, oh wait, Max says something. Did Nick's character adopt the name Indestructible Boy? Nice.
No.
Soyclops. You're definitely not a Soyclops.
That is true.
Yeah. Well, fighting mounted foes in your first fight is pretty aggressive. Hey man, I went by the encounter that was in the book. They were all on horses. Yeah. It's pretty aggressive. You're definitely going to take some damage from that kind of encounter. Yeah, they did. Like, well, the thing was, I was like, they might fucking all die. But
because one guy went down, I healed him. Then I went down.
Went down.
Then he went down again.
Yeah. But in the process, they managed to kill 2 of the. They killed 2 of the combatants and wounded 1. Their morale broke and they began to retreat. The wounded one gets killed by missile attacks on his way out. Then they go. Everybody regroups and goes. They hear the bandits are then calling out to them like, let's parlay, like let's come on, everybody chill, everybody chill.
Yeah.
And then the bandit leader, they go back and forth with some conversation, and one of the players is like, well, I just shoot him with my bow, and so I was like, okay, roll initiative. Like the fight starts, and then the rest of his guys got on their horses and left him to die. But
which is what happened to him.
Yeah, it is what happened to him. But they got fucked up in this fight.
Yeah.
So yes, it was but it was also that our assassin character had like gone ahead to scout and failed the sneaking proficiency throw. Which I make the sneaking proficiency throw on her behalf. So she doesn't know. She thinks she's sneaking. And she gets up there and they're like, who's there? And she's like, turns and runs.
Yeah.
They run after them. And then the players are all like taking their swords out and shit as these people are incoming. So it was like afterwards, she was like, man, I really should have tried to talk to them. It's like, yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it was It was a learning lesson, but also it was pretty cool because you guys did come out really fucked up. Like you lost an eye. It's like, woo, okay. Yep. This is a pretty.
Learn your lesson.
Yeah, learn your lesson quick. Readying in action works really well for hitting enemy spellcasters with a ranged weapon right in the middle of their incantations.
Right. Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. Terms that sound really similar, caster level versus character level, is the bane of tabletop systems. Yeah. And the thing is, maybe there is caster level. We don't know. That could just be lacking clarity in language. But since we were new to look out for terms and being like
because those are separate terms,
right? They're separate terms in D&D, and they might be separate terms here. And it's going to be important to know them.
Yes, and in a game that's very exacting. Like this, I was on the lookout for that.
Right. Shadow Dark uses spell tier instead of caster level and spell level. Using different terms helps a lot. Yeah. Leonard Brand says, the way I see it, I'm just buying good VTM content. Yeah. More to come. Yeah, we're doing Nick's going to do the whole game line.
Yes.
So look forward to that. The way it works as a gift. Thank you, man. We really do. That was extraordinarily generous.
Very generous.
Yeah. The fact that level is used for everything in D&D and similar systems has always annoyed me. Your book was supposed to be delivered for Streets Apparel.
Well, maybe it's shipped and it's on its way.
Maybe it got delivered to. Do you have an office that gets?
I haven't checked this week.
Yeah. Well,
check.
You might want to check.
I'll check this week.
What existing system out there would you place ACKS closest to?
Good question.
Some sort of D&D.
Yeah, some sort of D&D. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely where its roots.
Yeah, like maybe AD&D. Like, I don't know. But the thing is, I think it's got big differences from AD&D, but
I don't know enough about all of the incarnations of early D&D.
Yeah.
I played AD&D 2nd edition, which this is more consolidated.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty low bar to be more consolidated than AD&D.
2E, yeah.
Yeah, 2nd edition. I don't know, maybe AD&D first edition.
I think the design philosophy is most similar probably to AD&D, of having, the simulationist nature, the defined rules for all of these different factors and whatnot. And I think
it strikes me, as you said, as like Gygaxian philosophy that's actually taken seriously.
Yeah.
And done with forethought, research, and polish.
Right. And a ton of playtesting.
Right.
Wasteful spending is a big driver of player behavior as well. We've already had an extravagant horse funeral in my B2 ACKS game. That's awesome.
Hey, I want a fast mount.
Yeah.
For my next mount.
That's awesome.
Typical standard Caligula moment.
Yeah. Hey, McCrease is here. Thank you so much, Arbiter of Worlds, for showing up.
Good to see you.
Your game is really cool. We like it a lot. We are stumbling with the rules right now, though. So we're learning.
Is to be expected.
That is to be expected, yeah. Especially since we were basically, we're going to play it this week. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I could have spent another week reading it.
But why do that?
Yeah. Because I want to play it now.
Right.
And I have all these, I was like, this module is too cool. It's ostensibly BX system-wise, but it has placed the Gold as XP system as the crux of how the world operates and does it well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it goes so far beyond BX. Like, I have Old School Essentials around here somewhere. It is so far beyond that.
Right.
Like, Old School Essentials is this tiny little book, and ACKS is not tiny.
Yes.
The spreadsheet lord himself is here.
That's right.
Let's see here. 128. I really like the funeral mechanic in ACKS. Comparison to D&D 5e, where you can't die in your usual campaign. It always looked stupid that new characters would be the same level as the rest of the party by default. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and this forces you to make choices about your current character's level advancement. Like I said, this is the game. This is the low time preference gamer game system. Like you have to, which I really like that too, because all of these things, the game I think really does incentivize long term thinking and long term play. And I really, really hope we get to the Conqueror phase before everybody dies. I recall a Savage Worlds sword and sorcery setting with a rule that after adventures, you burn all the riches found on the adventure. Hence why you keep the characters going on adventures. Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole Shadow Dark thing. It's like, well, we're broke again. I guess we're just
savages and I have money, I drink it all.
Animal cruelty on stream.
Killing
the moth. ACKS II is autistic proof. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were like screeching with this rule. We were sitting there like, no, we gotta be missing something.
Yeah. If you weren't autistic before, the game will make you
autistic. We'll make you autistic. Yeah. This concept of one round is 10 minutes always fucking triggers me. It's so dumb and useless. Just say 10 minutes. A round is when everybody had a turn. Well, okay, so combat rounds differ then, though, from
a dungeon
turn. A dungeon turn is 10 minutes. And so you can, within that time, traverse up to your encumbrance and speed, like 120 feet. And you're like, you have to do this very methodically because, there's traps and all this other stuff.
You can go faster.
You can go faster, but it's going to be a lot more dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to run right into the orcs and, into pits and things like that. But it also, for game turn purposes, for tracking torchlight, it does actually make it easier to keep track of that and less arbitrary, because it's like, I know that 6 turns have gone by, it's been an hour, my torch is out, I need to light a new one. Like whereas again, Shadow Dark is doing like the high time preference thing of like, you're just tracking it, 1 hour of real time is your torch time, so you better make decisions quick. Which is a very different style of play than here, because in the dungeon here, I'm like, you better not do really quick actions, because you're gonna get fucking killed. I understand what you're saying, but it's for things like torches. Burning out. Subtract 10 minutes off torch life, of course. Also other timers. Yes, spell effects as well. You need to know how long, because some of those have certain durations. So we're just gonna diversity, and they're talking about diversity and inclusion. This is diversity and execution. Diversity, inquisition, and execution.
Nice.
How's it going, Phil the Thrill? I have to go back and watch your werewolf session with Mr. Max and Crispy and everybody. Last Friday I fell asleep after work for 2 hours, and then I turned on the stream, and you guys were like, "Man, that was a lot of fun." I was like, "Damn it!" I really want to play an ACKS game as adventurer. Yes,
I do as well.
And we were discussing this the other day. So I've told this story a bunch of times. I was in Within the Ring of Fire game where I was basically playing this like kind of capitalist character who was much older and was not like a combat focused character or anything. And that game went for 2 or 3 sessions before it fell apart because our GM lives in Germany, and like it was the scheduling conflicts started getting it was just too much to do. But I remember thinking, like, what am I going to do with this character mechanically? Because like as he advances, because like I can't take all of these things that are like better combat characteristics and stuff. He's old.
There's only so many. I've leveled up, but there's so few things that make sense.
That make any sense?
Yeah. To take.
And so this, like, it actually having a functioning economy, and having a capitalist class who is still like an adventuring character. You're like Lewis and Clark, like it's really cool. I'm very, very glad that someone chose that class. Gives you tools to make your own classes, a manual on world building, custom races, build everything from scratch if you will. It's awesome. And it's not just rules, it's really good advice. Like the advice on constructing a setting in Arbiter of Worlds.
I think the advice awesome. Is as good as the game is. I think the advice is even more valuable than the game itself.
Yeah, because it's applicable to
because you can take that in anything.
Right.
You can take those philosophies into D&D if you want to just run D&D or something else, anything else. Cyberpunk, whatever.
And that was, I think, kind of his goal was that he wanted to have the Judge's Journal, sit with the first edition Dungeon Master's Guide as like the resource, that level of thing. And with my very brief reading of it, picking out little pieces of it, I think it probably accomplishes that. I remember those issues with loot. People write that down. Exactly. Yep. I'll definitely play the venture capitalist class because I like money. Good. Who doesn't? Very based.
Yes.
I just think playing a fantasy game where you conquer the world through capitalism would be a relatively unique experience. Exactly.
Yes, it would. It's not something that I've seen emulated.
Yeah. And again, it's like, why is it only gold that I get from the dungeon that gives me experience? It's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be for adventuring. It's like, yeah, but like going out and doing massive trade expeditions and stuff, that is an adventure.
Yes.
Why doesn't that count in other games? And they're like, you just don't get it. It's like, no, you don't get it. I'm like, I'm not the retarded person. You're the retarded person. It was already a carnal zone per the warning signs. I don't know what that's in reference to. Reminds me of Daniel Abraham's Dagger and Coin book
I'm
series.
not familiar with it.
I've never heard of that. There was a baseball pitcher back in the 50s that went missing a couple of toes. It gave him this really bizarre floating screwball that was damn near impossible to hit cleanly.
Yep.
Interesting.
New character concept.
Yeah. How
retro-clony
is ACKS II?
I wouldn't say it's retro-colonial. It's very much its own thing.
It's very much its own thing.
I mean, it clearly has bones in its system of like
its DNA is there.
D&D.
This is not a retro clone, though. It is definitely its own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a world generator.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But the default or an Empire setting is awesome.
I really want to know more about that setting.
I do too. I want
a setting book.
A setting book for it.
Yes, I do.
And
yes.
the thing is, there is a lot, like the setting gets expanded a lot in a couple of the modules. Like there's the third module takes place in Aura, the capital, which is like Rome, basically.
Yeah.
And it has like really, I think, expands the world and gives you like city generation tools, which I think are probably in the Judge's Journal now. It sounds really cool, but at the same time, like I don't know that we're ever going to get to Aura because like who knows where they're going to go from here. So I don't know if I want to run that module ever, but but I want the campaign setting.
Yeah, I want to buy a book.
Yeah, and some of it, like the Oran Empire primer, which is about 20 pages, some of that information is in the ACKS book. But enough about the setting. The game itself, though, is very much its own thing. Like it's not retro cloning. You will see the DNA of it there, and it is definitely like I think probably the best Dungeons and Dragons experience you can probably get now. I would say like the best kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
like if I'm talking about like the archetype of the game itself. Like this,
the philosophy behind it is without question the best, most complete, most logical, most evocative.
Yeah, and
nothing comes close.
Yeah, we'll just wait for people to tell us you never read AD&D though. Read. How fast is combat? Does a 10-second fight take 2 hours like D&D or Pathfinder? So, aside from the mortal wounds table issues that we discussed,
I would say
earlier,
combat is pretty fast. Pretty deadly.
Yeah.
It took us a little bit longer because it was just a first time going through with everybody, but that's the case with any game. Yeah,
but the initiative system, everyone rolls a d6, adds their dex modifier, and you go in order. And basically, in the order, the batting order, GM starts counting down from 10. Yeah, so it's 10, 9, 8. I'm on 8, and it's like, okay, you do your action. You do your attack, we resolve it, and then we continue down the order. And it was quick. Yeah, it didn't feel.
Yeah, and people go down
fast. Very quickly. Yeah, like you.
So.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Certainly nothing like Pathfinder.
Yeah, and
nothing like modern D&D.
If you have a mid-level fighter who starts cleaving people, combat can go very fast because he can kill 5 enemies in one round.
Yep.
Yep. Old World of Darkness is my jam. I love the focus on it so far. Yeah,
Hell man.
More to come, and we will have new World of Darkness content as well.
Yes.
He's doing the VTM line. We're going to split VTR at some point, but I'm going to start the VTR line.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to go through all the first edition books over time as well. So that'll take both of us doing that.
Yep.
Have you played the Vampire the Masquerade chapters board game?
Not.
I have not. It's closest to BX.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a
I believe you.
Big expansion from. It's different than BX. First edition was much like second, just way messier.
Is this AD&D?
Yeah, it must be. Is there a negative hit point value where there is an instant death? I don't think so.
No, it's all based on that mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Thing.
There is a point at which you could not possibly overcome, no matter what healing magic and necromancy and everything that's being used on you. You probably can't.
Yeah. Barring something
like if you're negative 50 hit points as a first level character, there's no possible way that
you would need some sort of You're not being healed, you're just being revived or a wish spell or so very powerful magic that you're not likely to have on your side.
Your book is in the parcel locker, so it's waiting for you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been delivered.
Good to know. Thank you.
Crafty Matt. Originally in AD&D, it was player rank, character level, spell complexity was order, spell level, and monster strength was order, monster level. Oh, okay, so everything was separated. Nice.
Okay.
But abandoned for just general level. Man, what a bad
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. How modern are ACKS II mechanics? I mean, it's still a D20 system.
I would say like it's still a D20 system, but nothing remains. I would say there's no sacred cows, right? Yeah. There's no legacy mechanical material that isn't there for a very particular reason. If it's still there, it's been thought through how to best implement it from a logical standpoint as to what makes sense in a living world.
Yeah.
So,
and also for it to be fun.
Yes.
Like it's also like, it's not just, it is simulation of the world, but it's also like you can have the game elements and have it be fun too.
Nothing seems like wonky or like this is baggage from like an older edition and it's just there because it's always been there.
Right.
So
I'm really excited about the Venturer. Anytime I tried to play a merchant in a D&D game, the GM didn't like it.
I love playing.
I know.
Like that's my dream, one of my dream characters, just to play like a craftsman, an artisan, a businessman, a banker.
I didn't get ACKS II, but now I feel like it's the solution to generic fantasy that I've been looking for. That's my hope. And right now I am optimistic about this, that I might not really need a generic fantasy system after this, that this will be enough to do whatever I want to do within the fantasy genre.
Yeah.
And there is also like a heroic fantasy companion to it. So if you want to do more of like a, I don't want to say like a 5e type of thing, because that might not be the focus of it. But I know there is like,
I'm not familiar. Are you just more like more?
I think
powered?
You're more badass.
Yeah. And it's not for retail yet.
Yeah, it's not for retail yet. It was just the Kickstarter closed, which got a couple of the backer PDFs.
Can you back it after the fact?
Yeah, I think so.
Right now?
Not on BackerKit, but you can, if you reach out to, it's just at Archon for Macrease on Twitter. I think he's still taking pledges via PayPal. So yes, you can still back it, I think. Let's see here. Oh wait, we got Calvinoni. I'm so disappointed in you, Phil the Thrill. MCDM sounds like the Prestige Worldwide. Yeah.
What is that?
It's on an idea with no real game. Prestige Worldwide was. Have you ever seen Step Brothers with?
A long time ago.
Yeah. So it's. I almost said William H. Macy. It's John C. Reilly and
and Will Ferrell.
when they create their like event
it's
entertainment
a reference
company.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Prestige Worldwide.
You didn't back ACKS II. Phil the Thrill.
Yeah. What did I do? Yeah, you didn't get the Poplarwood slipcase.
Yeah, right. You figured it out.
Yeah. Question: where do you guys discuss TTRPGs with other like-minded people? I've tried Reddit.
Yeah,
and
don't try.
It's garnered mixed results. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am in the Basic Experts Guilded, and now the Autark Discord.
Yeah.
That's about it for what I do.
And
we are
locals.
Yeah, we are going to be launching our locals. We'll probably set it up this weekend. We'll be launching our locals, which will be a community for everybody that want like just all of you guys. It'll be mostly free, like just open to anyone who wants to be in the community. And then haven't figured out exactly what like the paid perks will be, but there will be like a paid tier that will have like a couple of like every once in a while there will be something that's like subscribers only.
Yeah.
But the majority of it's going to be like open, and hopefully it should be a place where everybody can come and talk and chat and everything like that. But we don't want to do.
We don't want the Discord,
a Discord or a Guilded, because my phone
gets just a sewer.
Yeah, it's too many notifications as well. It's like I'm already in way
too many notifications chats. And having no walls around that garden is difficult. Is you're doomed for
and I know you can make joining more difficult, and like there are things you can do to mitigate it, but like here's the thing, I just don't want to do it. I don't care. Like I don't want to deal with that, and I know it's a breeding ground for like drama and bullshit a lot of the times. So I would much rather have like an asynchronous form of communication. So soon we'll announce that when it's ready. There'll be a post on the YouTube like community tab, and we'll mention it in our videos and things like that. So very soon you'll have something like that. Is there a communist class where you have to roll saves every turn because you're starving to death?
It's in the bestiary. It's called being a ghoul.
Yeah. No, but there are chaotic anti-life classes. So. I really can't stand how many weird community rules Reddit has. Like you can't even discuss ACKS books.
Yeah.
Vornheim is one of the most useful books I own. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, they also tried to cancel McCrease over there as well. So
Reddit don't
Reddit sucks.
Stake your sanity or hopes on Reddit.
Yeah, like-minded as in immersion and roleplay focused.
Yep.
Like-minded is in not far left. Yeah. Hopefully that'll be our place. But also the Guilded, or not the Guilded, the locals, like obviously, like if people are going to talk about politics in the gaming, that's fine. But I don't want it to I don't want people talking about politics. Like talk about games. I am Christmas poor at the moment. Yeah, big true. Yep. Feeling that.
It happens.
Feeling that for sure. Check out the Dagger and Coin series by Daniel Abraham. It focuses on characters who comprise a bank and its guards navigating an empire war.
No,
and that's something you can do in ACKS. Like you can become the Iron Bank. Like it's fucking awesome. Yeah, look that up, please.
What was it? Dagger and
28 millimeter joins us. Thank you, man. Made it home. My tires were so frozen. Oh my god, flat spots from the cold. I can watch the ending of the stream now. Woo! Nice. Well, I'm glad you made it, man. I'm sorry that you live in hell where it's super cold. Super glad I was able to join again. Got to get off for work in an hour.
Oof.
Glad to have you, man.
Thank you for dropping in.
Everybody's saying hi to each other and goodbye.
Nice.
You conquer the world through force of arms or through researching the ultimate spell or ascending to demigodhood or becoming the Shadow Empire. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All about it. Let's see here. Primeval says, if I were interested in D&D, I'd def be interested in ACKS II. Yes.
Yep.
Mr. Max.
Yeah.
You'll need Bastard Sword, but that's going to be a very different vibe. Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more. I watched your
oh, that's right. That's
the new name for Winter Dawn. I watched your 2024 going forward video, your Arctic walkabout video. I'm really excited to see how it comes along.
Yeah.
In the new year.
Generic fantasy. I wonder if they come out with an Ericon RPG. Most games have their combat/conflict system packed in like 12 pages of rules. I don't know why MCDM can't get it sorted out over years.
I was saying this to you the other day. I said previously, people are talking about MCDM and calling Colville a grifter. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
And I had said, like, he's going to deliver it
Yeah.
It's just, this is like just stupid. And it is stupid.
Yeah. It's just lame. It's not for us.
Yeah, but I don't know. $4.5 million for like one guy and his team. I don't know that it will come out.
I don't know either, because we were saying this
like feature creep, and that there's no name, and everything is still subject to change, and they're here's like, what it is, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, we've designed the game up to level 1,
and now we have all this money.
Yeah,
what are we gonna do with it? How are we gonna give people? What does $4.5 million worth of production value mean in a book?
Yeah,
like, you can't.
It's like there's no sacred cows. We haven't, like anything can change. We haven't committed to anything. It's like you haven't committed to anything. Like, what? So you don't have any ideas?
Yeah,
like
that's what I said before. It's like I don't begrudge him the money, and I don't begrudge him the money. But I thought about it more, and the fact that so many people backed. Not even a concept. Just we have a game. We don't have an idea for a game.
Yeah,
we're going to have a game that occurred to me, and that really pissed me off. Like, you don't even have a concept for a product.
Yeah.
Which is,
other than it's cinematic action and you don't make an attack roll, you just do damage.
It's like, maybe it's all subject to change.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
that could change. Wanted to make a World War II game in the style of Sniper Elite and Commandos. Infiltrate enemy lines and assassins. What are your thoughts?
Sounds cool as hell, man.
Although I would say Sniper Elite and Commandos, although they're both in World War II, are very different games. Well, maybe not. I mean, they're very strategic. You have to be strategic in Sniper Elite as well. But Commandos is a very, very different style of game than that. But yeah, do it. That sounds awesome. Testicle shot RPG.
Nice.
Rather than going back to Monkey, go back to Forums. Yeah. How would each of you describe your political positions? Based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Based and correct.
Yeah, based and correct. Have you thought of having a list of recommended and counter-recommended RPGs? I mean, that's kind of just what we're doing.
We talk about.
Yeah, and what we're doing with reviewing games and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you will definitely know which games we like and which games we would say avoid playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love Macrease and love ACKS. I am also terminally autistic and therefore love Hornworld. Hornworld. Have you ever seen it? It's an incredible setting full of detail for people who enjoy verisimilitude. No,
I'm aware that it exists, and I know that it's an old and very detailed setting. I don't know anything about it, but I'm very interested in it.
Mm-hmm. Also, what are y'all going to do reading comments as you continue to grow in size? I could see you guys taking off among like-minded folks. There are many more of us than Reddit wants to believe.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true.
Very true.
Yeah, we're going to keep reading comments. I mean, like, at some point, like, we'll have to probably have moderators to make sure that, like, they don't, have us say things.
Yeah.
Like, we can't. But yeah, we're going to.
It's a challenge we welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna. We like hanging out with you guys and see what you're saying.
This is
awesome. We learn a lot of cool things from you guys. So we will not
Streets
stop.
Apparel and
I mean, there's times where we can't always get to every comment. Because there's a lot of them.
Only so much time.
But we definitely want to keep doing these.
We do our best.
Is Matt designing an RPG by committee now? Yeah, it sounds like it. If MCDM were truly cinematic, the budget would be $100 million plus and would show a lot less. And the PCs would have to be girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the HR department?
I'm an anti-communist and counter-revolutionary. It isn't enough to be not communist. You have to be actively anti-communist. Yeah, exactly. Firelock's War Stories can support both of those playstyles.
I'm not familiar with that either.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 response. Correct.
Yes.
I have a drawer full of Harn back at my mother's house, like 40-year-old books.
Damn, that's cool.
That's awesome. Harn was a great labor of love. I showed my pics of it this past week. A lot of realism and crunch.
Nice. Yeah, one of many older games and worlds that...
Our one moderator is here. We got Crispy in the house.
Hey, good to see you,
man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I also watched your
I'm doing a bang up job by not moderating.
Yeah. And thank you for the shout out on your 2024 going forward New Year's video as well. Really always love what you have to say. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And I did subscribe to Crispy. And I did comment because you said you're like, I don't know anything about making YouTube videos. Check out my comment and go check out the vidIQ channel because it's we had been watching it for months and we basically waiting until Nick got here to really start doing what we wanted to do on YouTube because it was just too hard to do asynchronously. But as soon as we applied the vidIQ advice, what do you know? 10 times the reach on the first video. Like
it works.
Yeah, it works. It definitely works. Crispy has just elected himself censor res publica. Well, technically, we appointed him censor. Crispy letting all the N-bombs slip by. That will not be happening, by the way. Considering you were wearing a Mises t-shirt for one stream, you're definitely based politically. That is correct.
Yep.
Yes. Well, considering I also have Mises's, we can't see here, Mises's motto tattooed on my arm. That's better than the t-shirt, I think.
Yeah.
And Nick doesn't have tattoos and is more biblically based in that sense.
That is true.
Yeah, and he gets to go to heaven. I don't. So. I don't think I could go back to non-sandbox play. One shot, sure, but not for a campaign. Yeah, I mean, once you do like, and this is the first, like, honestly, this is the first technical sandbox that I will be running, where it's a hex crawl and like, and things like that. So in that sense, I haven't done a sandbox, but the way that we run our games, in any other system is that it's totally open-ended. We come up with a bunch of NPCs and factions and things like that.
Yeah.
Within typically a city is what we're going to be playing, whether it's World of Darkness or a sci-fi game or anything. And then the game is sandbox from there, and that there's not a predefined narrative. And like it's
whatever the character, the character's motivations are determine what's going to happen.
Right. And the other NPCs in the world
interacting,
and that goes in very different directions.
Yes.
So it's awesome. Yeah. Once you figure out that, like, I don't have to plan anything, you know, like, but not that you don't plan anything, but like you get rid of 80%, 90% of your prep. It's like, I just have to know fucking awesome.
Yeah. I have to know what the other NPCs are doing, you know, and I just have to be ready to role play the NPCs.
Yeah.
You know, basically more or less.
So what would you not use ACKS II for?
Sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi. Lots of stuff. Like if it wasn't like, I will use
a pulp adventure game.
Yes, sword and sorcery.
A supers game.
A supers game I would not do. Yeah, pulp adventure meaning like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah. Yes. Not like
not pulp.
Not Conan.
Sword and sorcery. Yeah.
Yeah. Conan is a good fit for this.
Conan is a great fit for this. If I wanted to do something, well, I haven't read the Heroic Fantasy Companion, but if I wanted to do something that was like really super powered fantasy, probably would not use ACKS. It does the kind of fantasy that I want to do very well, where you have, you know, like fucking the monsters are actually scary and deadly,
right? And
you can do these like political things and you know, have armies and pitched battles and all of that stuff. Like that is the stuff I want to do, and that's what ACKS does very well. If you wanted to do some sort of crazy, I don't know though, because they got the Barbarian Conquerors of Kanahu, I think is what it's called, or Barbarian something of Kanahu. That's got like laser guns and Conan and shit. You know, like
maybe
like it's got like it's a weird pulp fantasy thing. So you can do that, but it's definitely not for everything. I will be taking a lot of inspiration,
which is good.
Yeah, that is good. You shouldn't want to be able to do,
because no one thing can do everything well. It's going to be sort of lukewarm.
I'm definitely going to be taking lessons from ACKS's game design though, going forward on some of the projects that we're working on behind the scenes.
Very much so.
Yes, that won't be in that genre. Like I'm working on a sci-fi thing, sort of sci-fi. It's very different,
Yeah.
but the experience system, it's obviously it's not gold for XP, but
it just wouldn't. It would have to. You'd have to change it much.
No, you can't take the experience system from ACKS and use that for what I want to do.
Yeah,
but there's a lot about the economy and the experience system that I'm taking cues from for this. So it's it's going to be,
again, it's the philosophy.
It's the philosophy behind the game.
Yeah,
the philosophy is correct. So even if we do find things about ACKS that like we don't like from a technical perspective, it has the correct foundation.
Yes,
in game 100%. Design principles and in just general philosophy as well. So it's like it's very, very good. That's the best. Like it started from the correct starting point, and any mistakes are only going to be minor from there. I don't think I could go back to it. So we read that.
We have that.
Yeah, Mayor McCheese, how's it going, man? I'm so anti-communist that the people who threw commies out of helicopters think I'm a little too extreme.
Good.
Savage Worlds plot point settings is what got me into sandboxing. It's not much prep at all. Slipstream setting got me into sandbox play, and it was like an epiphany.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a light goes off. They turn the light out. What system would you use for Shadowrun? I like the setting, but I hear the system is kind of a mess. Maybe Cyberpunk?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't played Shadowrun, so the answer would be Shadowrun first for me. I have heard the same thing, that the system isn't good. I don't know if that's true. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, probably Cyberpunk. If not Shadowrun.
Yeah. Plot points aren't sandbox, they're theme park. They're different rides and attractions you can visit. You can visit them in any order, but these are the things to do.
This is in reference to the Savage World.
Right.
But I'm thinking, I haven't read the
But you could use them as like jumping off points, I think.
I would imagine so.
Heroic Fantasy Handbook is for Conan and Lord of the Rings. Oh, okay. Cool. I'd say there are mostly sandbox, dozens of locations, always something that can fill a night when you get to them, wrapped up in an overall plot that players unravel over a campaign. Yeah. I'm very familiar with Savage World settings. I'm familiar with them, but they're not sandbox. They're a set story in a sandbox. There is no preset story.
I can't comment. I don't know.
Man, I'd love a Conan TTRPG. I know there was a 2D20 game that's shuttered. Something new would be awesome. Sadly shuttered. Yeah, well, and sadly, I mean, there was going to be a Chuck Dixon Conan setting, official ACKS setting, but Chuck Dixon lost the license. It turned out some of the things that he did were not actually in public domain.
Yeah.
So now, therefore, there is not an ACKS Conan setting, which is unfortunate.
Yep.
Don't try to understand communists. Communists understand communists, and they hate each other. No, you play Shadowrun with Shadowrun. The rules make the setting feel the way it is.
That is true. The system does matter, as we've said before.
Hyperborea 3E for Conan.
That's right. That is a game. I think it must have kickstarted last year. I missed it. I want to get it because it's the second edition of what was Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. I think now it's just Hyperborea. I do want to
everybody
get that.
says Hyperborea is awesome.
I really want to get that. I know DM James has talked a lot about it before. Other people have as well.
Crossface has recommended it several times.
I really want to pick that up. I missed the Kickstarter, so if it's available for retail or for purchase on BackerKit or whatever, let us know.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's not 100% run on random tables in a hex crawl. It does have random tables and a hex crawl with the addition of an overarching story. And you can make it, if as long as you're not like, I have to stick to the story and the script, then you can make it a sandbox. Like you don't have to follow the
as long as you don't make the players
make them do the thing
to these things, then it really is. These are just sites of interest or points of interest or
ass of Hyperborea. Hyperborea looks great. Matt Colville stated that his MCDM backer kit campaign philosophy is to bring his backers cradle to grave, show them the sausage making process.
Well, they'll be in the grave by the time this fucking thing is done.
God damn, what a dumb idea.
Yeah, absolute trash idea. It's
nobody wants to see wrong starting point. Made. Yeah.
Also,
make a good hot dog. That's what I want.
Yeah. Also, like you're going to give you're burning resources for something that is not adding to the caliber of the product I've paid for.
Right.
Tell me about it later, or do separate videos.
Right.
Which you're already fucking doing.
Yeah.
You don't need money for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more
make the
game
more
angry I
get.
get.
Do the backer kit. Get the $4 million after the game is made.
Yeah. The fact that this was not written is absolutely inexcusable.
It's inexcusable. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Hyperborea is a fun game, but it's very wrapped up in its setting. I love a strong setting.
Yeah.
I guess the plot points are more like adventure
the real
hooks.
world.
Also, yeah. Also good if your players need some pushing to start the story rolling. I had groups with not much initiative, which made sandboxing very stale.
Yeah. Having a strong premise is not antithetical to sandbox or an inciting incident is great. I love a good inciting incident, and I love a good strong premise.
Yeah, me too. Plot point campaigns will have every player group face the same big bad evil guy at the end, but you don't. I mean, if you follow it, like if you do it exactly, yes. Yeah. But I guess you like my thing is it's like
as long as you don't white knuckle the game.
Yeah.
You take your hands off the steering wheel. If they don't do it, they don't do it.
Right.
Things will
then I
happen.
Adapt. Then I change. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They'll have every player face the big bad evil guy at the end.
Yeah.
And we'll resolve the story in the same way. That's not just locations; they are story beats. Matt overpromises, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Are the MCDM simps in the chat? Well, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I talk about my game and show the development to so people can see how the sausage is made. I don't need to be paid for. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need $4 million to do that.
Yeah.
And it is crazy that not only have they not written something, but they're just like not committed to anything.
Yeah.
That is a bad sign. You need to have strong ideas and strong opinions on things.
Yeah, and having no opinion and getting so much money.
Yeah.
Like I could very easily foresee a situation where this whole thing gets scuttled like midway through, or they burn all the money and are going back and forth, and it isn't until the last 13 to 18 months that they just shove something through, and it's
bad,
not good.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
Calvinoni strongly dislikes Matt C. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hyperborea 3E is absolutely badass, and there's new stuff coming out. Plus, all the previous content is still compatible.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It's on my list.
He was already charging the sausage.
Yeah, that's something else. He's charging like $10 or $8 or more on Patreon already.
With like a
he's getting all this money and $4.5 million on top of that. Again, it's like make your money, but like the fact that you didn't even have an idea of a product in mind is just, again, when that occurred to me, I got so angry.
Hey guys, I don't really have any ideas for making a new RPG. I'll post a link for my Kickstarter later.
Yeah.
Good comment.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm not really money motivated. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like some people are more money motivated than others. But you can go to Muppet Land or whatever it was called in ACKS II. I mean, actually,
why not? You could.
Well, it's not even that you could. It's that Muppet Land was an ACKS game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah. B-Dubs.
Canonically,
Dubs are on. Yeah, Dubs are on is an
ACKS 1E game. Nice.
Yeah. He apparently. I need to actually go back and read all of his. Start from the beginning and read all his session reports. There's a lot, but apparently because it begins in the beginning and it's like the Oran Empire setting.
Oh,
and then
it went wrong.
Well, what happened? This is what I heard from the Dundermoose show, and this could be a simplification of it. But one of his characters got access to a wish spell, and wished that everyone in the world but him was a Muppet or something like that. And so he went with
that.
Instead of vetoing that. Because the character wouldn't know what Muppets are.
Right.
But that is pretty funny. But yeah, it's an ACKS game. He apparently used to argue with Jeff Rowe. This is just like various podcasts that I'm like pulling details out of like that when Jeff was like, no, you got to use AD&D 1E is the first way. He's like, I can do this in ACKS so much better. Like,
correct.
And I think he might have said that ACKS II will probably make everyone forget about AD&D. Slipstream, for example, had 10 main event locations that players discover, but 30 plus other locations, no plot point related.
Nice.
With all adventures broken in. Yeah. I mean, if you just have a bunch of locations, it's like with characters and stuff, that's enough to get a game going.
Yeah. For
Colville's hair is pretty. Sometimes I zone out as I watch it bounce and sway.
Uncanny Valley.
He just needs to also stop coloring his fucking hair.
Yeah.
Just be old, dude.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, I'm fucking going bald. And guess what? Someday I'm going to shave my head.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, it'll happen someday.
Yep.
And I'm not going to fucking, get out hair implants or a wig or like any of that shit. Like, God damn it. Just have some dignity.
Yeah, give it up.
Get old. What system would you use for 20th century techno horror? Like Scanners, Videodrome, Reanimator, and RoboCop, etc. Well, we have actually something very interesting here for you. Courtesy of the Red Room, they sent us a couple of their books. One of them is Wretched New Flesh. This is a setting that is like a Cronenberg, William S. Burroughs, Lynchian techno noir, cyber.
It sounds like a really cool
it's a
mashup.
Really cool mashup
that I never would have thought to do.
Yeah, very, very cool shit. The setting book is enormous. This is like 650 pages. So this is clearly the one that Miguel likes the most. But they sent these to us. We'll be reviewing this stuff over time because I bought a bunch of I have a bunch of Wretched products that I've bought, and my goal was to buy them all over time, but he offered to send us some for free. So I was like, okay. So got that one. Also got, so that would probably be a good bet. You get
it seems really, really cool.
Yeah, the Wretched Core book is free on their website, the Red Room. And you can get the setting books for, however much they cost. They're inexpensive for the quality of the content that you get. And just compared to most other books. We also got Wretched Darkness, which is their sort of World of Darkness style thing. Haven't read this one at all yet. And we will be reviewing all of these, but it's going to be a while because we've just got a lot of books that were in content in the pipeline already. And then
we don't have it here because it's at my house. Wretched Interbellum, which looks really cool. Set in between the world wars. You're very much your Indiana Jones like moment in history. Really.
The cover art's great.
The cover art is excellent.
It's they're all
their
really
covers
cool.
are really good.
Yeah.
Especially their later ones.
Colville made it pretty clear the system is work in progress. If people want to throw money at that, well, that's a free market. Needless to say, I'm not a backer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely can, but like bad choices on.
The MCDM sausage analogy from Colville was weird since he's probably a bleeding heart vegan.
I don't know, with a neck like that.
I feel like he'd have to be eating burgers and shit. Yeah, some steak.
Yeah.
The good thing about everyone fighting the same big bad is that conventions players can swap stories on how it went with their game. Mass Effect, when the players show up at that world, those events happen. Before that, they're in stasis waiting for the players to arrive. I see.
Yeah. Not good to have things remain in stasis.
The hair of Matt C is the only reason to watch. I'm further along in development than MCDM.
So are we.
I wouldn't think charging anyone a damn dime without being 99% to the at the 99% mark of completion, for fuck's sake. My eyes are getting tired, so it's like hard to actually read everything.
And like to not even have a concept, like a strong, solid concept in mind. You know what I mean? Is like that's it's beyond insane. Like that is Yeah.
Black Lodge Games, your argument in favor of plot points seems to be ignore plot points. Yeah. Accurate. It's take what's interesting about the premise and run with it. And have it in motion.
Yeah, because any world, any setting, whether it's a city, whether it's a continent, whether it's a kingdom, whether it's a whole planet or a star system, there are going to be things in it which are dramatic or can be dramatic if you hone in on it. But it's up to the player character's motivations, their needs, their responsibilities, whatever the case may be. Their actions determine how they become entangled in the world.
Yeah. That seems overly harsh. His running the game videos are great.
Is this Colville?
Yeah. He has some occasional moments of lucidity.
Yes.
As we've seen. Whoops. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yes, I have a strong opinion. Based
and true.
Crafty Matt. Black Lodge Games, we brought all this up on Ryan Howard's stream, and we're told that we were being big babies and asked, what have you done? And then Crafty, I think dropped the hammer and said that he was the 1993-1994 two-time blockbuster video game champion. Basically went like full Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect.
My brain, you guys can tell my brain is like slowing down right now. I can't fucking talk anything. Yeah. What have you done? Lots of shit. And whenever someone says that, what have you done?
You don't need to do
it's
anything.
Like, I know you have done nothing.
Right.
If you're the type of person that says that, I know you've done nothing. Shut the fuck up. Get fucked. Well, I like him. That's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like I said, we've seen some of his videos where we're like, holy shit, we're actually agreeing with like everything he's saying.
Yeah, he was completely right in that. Yeah. Like 5e is a non-game. It's about nothing.
It's about nothing.
100% true.
Yeah. That's fine, but they're not sandbox gamings. You can like whatever you want. True, you can. With all my games, I have a quick intro adventure, and I see what they care about or do. I then make the rest of the game around their goals or the people that want them dead. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. I guess the MCDM game will be fine, and the backers will like it. That being said, it feels really weird to crowdfund with so little work done. Yeah,
that is what I thought, and the more I think about it, I think there's a much higher probability of this game not coming out than I initially
thought as well.
Anticipated.
Yeah. I was going to compare MCDM to Star Citizen, but at least Chris Roberts actually had a concept and a design direction before he went to Kickstarter. Yeah. And I am a Star Citizen enjoyer. I don't play it as often as I would like, but I find it so fucking compelling. Even though it's like the most technically impressive thing I've ever seen and the most technically embarrassing thing I've ever seen simultaneously. But the vision is amazing, and they're making actual real steps towards it right now, which is like mind-boggling. Seeing some of the stuff come together, it's really.
I also
cool.
hear this is like the last week or the last month to if you want to get in on like the Alpha 2, whatever the Ashes of Creation 2 fantasy MMO is coming out.
Yeah, the one that everyone's really
in I think April. Oh, and by the way, not connected to tabletop RPGs at all, but I heard that NCSoft has recently what's the word I'm looking for? They've acknowledged and they are supporting the City of Heroes Homecoming fan server, which is awesome because I love the City of Heroes MMO. I played so many hours of that game, so I'm glad that is has nothing to do with anything. But talking about Star Citizen and video games made me think about that.
Just rock the crown of hair.
Yeah.
No. Bald Matt, tomorrow, do it. Someday there will just be a stream where I will be bald. I will shave my head. I think the day is coming sooner than I think. My hair looks okay when it's like short like this, but as soon as it gets out of the like, you just had a haircut a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, it's like Oh, it gets rough. It gets really bad. Speaking of cyberpunk or horror, Cyborg was such a disappointment.
That's the Morkborg's thing. I've run Morkborg. I love the art of it. I haven't picked up anything else because it was a fun and cool gimmick. I don't care about it any more than that.
Mm-hmm. When the hairline reaches the ears, get out the razor. I don't know. I mean, it's like the thing is, I'm missing some in the front, and I'm missing some in the back. So I have this like part in the middle that still grows, and the sides and back of my head are still very full. But it's getting a little rough. No, too much ginger reflection. I ran a Hellfrost campaign for several years.
Nice.
R.I.P. Wiki.
Oh yeah. I forget what his full name is. He's the designer. Never played Hellfrost, but always wanted to.
Biden made the cover for New Flesh.
Well, he does belong. It
does look like, yeah.
He does belong in a body horror.
Like, yeah, this does look kind of like Dark Brandon. Set it in the unofficial Verhoeven trilogy: RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Verhoeven.
Yeah.
I just got Wretched and Wretched Space.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we don't have Wretched Space yet. I will get that someday, but I'm less interested in that than the other ones. Like New Flesh sounds fucking awesome. And there was one that I think there's gotta be one that there's one or two that we don't have. One of the ones we
don't have Wretched Country, and I want that.
True. I'm not a huge fan of Wretched Bastards. It is like it's not even a Conan knockoff. It's like an Italian Conan knockoff.
Yeah.
Which is that's that, and like it says that, which is pretty cool. But it's like it just didn't grab me as much as the others.
Yeah.
I will review it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait to shave it. Do it now. Be free from the tyranny of keratin. Wiggy died. I saw he had a stroke while working on Hellfrost sequel books, but I thought he lived but stopped writing. He was prolific. I ran Hellfrost for a year. It's awesome. Unfortunately, Clive Black's wife is running things now at Triple Ace, and it isn't good. Many such cases. It is the Longhouse. Oreos are vegan. That's true. Oreos are vegan. Wrote so much stuff so fast it was hard to keep up. I don't really know who this guy is. My physical copy of Wretched Epoch 2nd edition just shipped. Thanks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun, man. Don't forget to so it has to be paired with
the Wretchedverse
with a system. So you can use an OSR system if you want. I would recommend getting the Wretched core book, which is free for download on their website.
Right.
Yeah. Because Wretched Epoch is a setting expansion book for that.
Right.
Which I don't think I was clear enough on that in the video, in the Candela video. Like I recommended it a lot. But it's like after the fact, I was like, oh fuck, what if people are like, I bought it and it's not a full game? It's gonna be like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you can't
read the product description.
Fine. Yep.
Yeah. I do feel like that was a mistake on my part.
We do have a new logo.
But I can't redo the video, so
you can't.
Mm-hmm. But what?
We do have a new logo.
Oh yeah, we have a new logo. Yeah, so this it's pretty sick. I won't go into where it came from because I just don't want. It's a cool logo though. It's a wonderful logo.
Mm-hmm.
Cool person got it. Don't you dare peek in the 2x world. Maybe I haven't done anything, but at least I haven't charged anyone for it. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good comment. I've done work for MTV, Microsoft's Voom Network, ESPN, CBS College Sports, and done voiceover work in a few games. I was station manager at the TSN that helped pioneer shoutcasting in the early 2000s.
Damn.
And VOD broadcasting services, which later paved the way for Justin TV and eventually Twitch TV. What have you done, scrub? I added the last part. McCrease's media blitz and regular Kickstarter updates alleviated any of my doubts about investing. The man was a machine. Yeah, totally. And
he's doing it right.
The game was
basically done.
Yeah, like the game, you can play the game. Like as soon as he gave out the Kickstarter, the PDFs.
Yep.
It's all, with the exception of the Monster Manual, still coming out because it needed some math updates apparently. And I think we're gonna get this week, maybe next week. But you can play the game. Like it.
Yep. We did.
Yeah, and we're going to continue playing the game. We're very excited to continue playing the game. He appealed to me because he was critical of 5e, and so was I. His issues with 5e are not my issues. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he explains his position and his reasoning very well.
Yeah. Aha. Mr. Max asks, how much did I spend on Star Citizen? I have spent a total of $15 on Star Citizen because in 2014, when I got my Radeon RX R290 graphics card, it came with Star Citizen. And I went to go and buy Star Citizen like a year or two ago when I was starting to get into it. And realized I already had an account. And I was like, oh yeah, this came with my graphics card like 10 years ago. And it's still an alpha. So I upgraded. I got the ship that came with my copy was the biggest piece of shit. It was like a racing ship. It had no cargo, no weapons. So I went and shelled out $15 to upgrade my package to like one of the better starter ships. However, I have considered spending more money to get a better ship, just to upgrade to a Cuddy Black. But because, and the thing is, it's like you can grind for it in game, but every once in a while they wipe the servers. Yeah. So it's like, unless it's something you paid for, you're not necessarily guaranteed to have it.
Yeah.
And I'm not fucking doing that. Like when my progress gets wiped out on something, I'm like, I'm never touching this again.
Yeah.
like when my party started dying in XCOM. In the mid game, and I realized I'd made some big mistakes early on. I was like, I'm never fucking playing this game again. Like, fuck this.
I'll never know how
this game's giving me panic attacks. Like, like everything's turning red on the map. It's always the MCDM fans that will simultaneously tell you, play what you like, enjoy what you like, and then screech "ree" every time you point out the failings of this system or methods. Yeah. City of Heroes is the best.
It is.
Is MCDM an idiot savant? Only time would tell.
I think just an idiot.
Yeah. I think a lot of MCDM backers will be disappointed. He got a big 5e audience, but Colville is a 4e guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was part of that is the golden age of TTRPGs over thread.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about it. It's
I hope so.
Like, yeah, I know, me too. It's like Critical Role is fucking up its brand by getting away from D&D. And Colville is going to fuck up his brand by getting away from D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And D&D is fucking up its brand by getting away from D&D.
What isn't even that? It's like Colville loves D&D. That's like what he's like his issues with 5e notwithstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't even have an idea to compete with D&D.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea whatsoever. Yeah.
I played City
of
Heroes back in the day. What server were you on?
Pinnacle server, man. Drunk server. That's right. All day, every day.
City of Villains is the best. City of Heroes is the
City of Villains is awesome. The Mastermind, so cool. I've never seen a pet mechanic class in an MMO that worked so well as that. I was a Necromancer Poison villain. Is what I mained in City of Villains.
NCSoft must be needing money or something.
Well,
I played City of Villains.
City of Villains is
We got
awesome.
some edgelords in the chat then, I guess. Now I'm looking through old Colville videos to compare hair, lol. How old is he? I thought he was in his early 60s. I don't know. But
if he's in his early 60s, like, go gray, dude. Like,
I know. He's 100% dyeing his beard and his hair. So just go gray, man. I played on the RP server, I think. Was that
Virtue?
Freedom? I forget.
I think Virtue was the roleplay server.
Homecoming server has been active for years, so they couldn't stop them. Might as well profit off of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Virtue, yeah, that's what he said. The new RP server is Everlasting, I think.
Nice.
Comb over. Yeah. I don't want to do a comb over. Everybody's talking more love for City of Villains.
Hell yeah.
Man, why are retro clones so liked? Not that it's bad, but suboptimal, and THACO is bullshit. Modernized OSR rules. Yeah.
Well, ACKS does not use THACO.
No.
Or descending
AC. It's weird. The thing is, it actually makes more sense. AC starts at 0, goes up, and you have an attack throw. Like it's like you kind of have THACO. Like it's not THACO, but it's like another thing. It's like you have an attack throw, you add the AC. That's the target number that you have to hit.
Right out long in the back and flip it
forward.
The recursive mullet.
Yeah. I had to limit my order of the Red Room. I'll get more soon. Nice. Conquest is the worst Italian-made sword sorcery movie ever. Yeah, I think that actually is that's probably listed.
I haven't seen
as influences in Wretched Bastards. MCDM fans are part of a cult of personality, just like the Critters. They're trying to use the potential creation of a VTT as a justification for the $4 million the books are unreasonably priced.
Oh my god.
You can easily convert back and forth between THACO and ascending AC. Some rules let you do either, like OSC. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's another thing. They have $4 million, and they're claiming the books are going to be 400 to 800. Like it's going to be 400 pages a piece. How the fuck could they possibly know that? If they've only designed the game to level 1,
what if what you've made is
everything can change? How can they estimate that?
Yeah. Like the more I think about it, and the more he says, it doesn't it does not add up.
Oreos may be vegan, but eating Oreos without milk makes you lose any and all protections under the Geneva Convention. True, but why would you want to use THACO unless purely for the crystallized habit? It seems many retro clones don't have ascending AC out of the box. I hate descending AC. It's a fucking anachronism.
It's stupid.
It's fucking stupid.
It's dumb. Yes, I can do it.
I know.
I don't want to.
The math isn't hard, but it conceptually it is unintuitive and stupid.
Yes.
And number go up, harder to hit. What's easier than that?
Right.
Like this is so the mental gymnastics that people go through to justify still liking
why it's better.
Yeah. Some people are like, I just like the feel of it, and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It's like it's nostalgia. That's what I grew up on. Like, got it. That's fine. That's valid. But don't tell me this is objectively better for some bullshit reason.
It's literally the fucking midwit meme where you have it like Grug Brain going number go up better.
Yeah.
And then you have midwit going, no, you just don't understand. THACO's not hard to calculate. The probabilities are actually a little different because it was 19 and then blah blah blah. And then the brilliant guy on the other end saying number go up better.
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
100%.
As with so many other things.
Yeah.
That is the
case. Graphic card becomes obsolete before the game comes out.
Yeah.
The graphics card became obsolete like long before the game came out, and it was a nice graphics card. Barking up the wrong tree. I'm just saying it's a minor issue. You use THACO to add an extra step in resolving your hit roll. Yeah, I agree.
It's a good mechanic for making your game worse.
For making your game suck. Some people have literally spent thousands of dollars for a ship on Star Citizen.
I know.
Some people have spent tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's insane. No, well, here's the thing. No, they haven't. They have not spent tens of thousands of dollars or thousands of dollars for ships on Star Citizen. They've spent tens of thousands and thousands of dollars for JPEGs of ships because most of the ships don't exist in the game yet. Good night, man. Yeah, we're gonna cut it off here pretty soon. So, Cuddy Black is love. Cuddy Black is life. I wish I never upgraded mine to a Vanguard Sentinel. Good, because I was thinking about getting the Vanguard Sentinel. After that, I almost mentioned it. So I'll stick with the Cuddy Black. Just like the health of the comic book industry is tied to the health of the Marvel comics, the health of the TTRPG industry is tied to the health of D&D. We're watching them both fail in real time.
See, but that's the thing. Like the industry, yes, the hobby is not dependent upon the success of the industry.
Correct.
In fact, it makes it worse.
Yeah, it does make it worse.
And like I was saying before stream, the that book that Primeval Fantasy recommended on one of our streams, The Elusive Shift, you're talking about the history and like every single conversation, every single unresolved point of contention or argument, every topic that routinely comes up has been talked about since the year D&D came out in the mid-70s, and in some cases, even before D&D was even a thing. And reading that book, the commentary was so much better, and the more high-quality people. It was legitimately a niche activity,
right?
For giga nerds, and I long for that day again.
Got more people, I think, talking about
Hell yeah.
Heroes.
Pinnacle server. Yeah, man.
Virtue was RP. ACKS is basically Combat Matrix. I don't know what that means.
I don't know how you mean. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. If you can please explain that. Oh, combat. It's a Combat Matrix, like for attack throws and everything like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Thaco is wacko. That is correct.
Yep.
Not full Monty, but yeah, it's creeped in. Raffle recursive bullet. Yeah. First armor class should be the best. Armor ratings for RPGs should be ascending. Correct. Number go up.
Yes.
I like it when number go up. You got the MCDM of games with Star Citizen. Yeah, but I mean, Star Citizen, I can go log on right now and play it. Like
it's real.
It is real. It's incomplete.
Yeah.
And really fucking buggy and weird. But when there are times where it will just take your breath away.
Yeah.
And other times where I'm like, I'm never playing this ever again. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I am a Star Citizen enjoyer. I agree. The hobby is independent of the industry. Yeah.
Yep.
Every campaign in RPG ought to have options, a list basically, from where new PCs quickly comes and joins the party out of the box with decent motivation, clan, family, faction, guild, etc. Yeah, I mean, you can just have like a table of motivations that you can pick off of or, roll at the end. After the first ones die horribly. Yeah. At the end of the day, we prosper. New D&D fails. Gatekeeping increases, and we return to more like-minded people, play better games. They publish Virtue Signal.
How to play is
how to play is but can't control your table. Yeah.
Yep.
MCDM did do a live test recently. It was okay. Just kind of felt like the usual tactical war game. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play MCDM right now. All you need is a really good imagination. In fact, it'll probably be better than the finished product.
And it's free.
Yeah. You got some good comments, man. We're enjoying this.
Nice.
At any rate, I think that's probably a good note to end on.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of fun. We will review. I have no fucking clue how we're going to review ACKS because it's so big.
Yeah.
But
probably as
it's going to be a long time before that happens because I want to really get system mastery with this first. But there will be a lot of ACKS content later in the year, probably.
Yeah, as we have more experience and as we use different mechanics or circumstances come up which we find that really worked or really didn't work. I think we'll talk about it somewhat regularly.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll do probably a series of videos, but
who
knows when that'll be.
It's going to be a long time from now.
Yeah.
But we're enjoying the game right now, which is the important thing. We want to get back to the table is the great thing.
Yes, correct. But
yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
anyway,
much obliged to everybody who tuned in, and thank you for all those super chats. Very generous.
Very generous. Thank you so much. Make sure it's still 80 people here. If you guys could just hit the like button on the stream, that'd be really cool. And if you haven't subscribed somehow, Smash like and subscribe to the bell for notifications.
Lone Wolf Fist review when?
Soon, actually. And Joel is going to have another Kickstarter coming up soon. So he's going to come on our show within the next couple months here. So there will be a review of Lone Wolf Fist. And I want to play that game, but I'm probably going to have to do it online because I don't think I'll be able to sell this group on another game right now. I just made them make shit characters for ads. Anyways, have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.
We will see you next week.
Indeed.